Hey everybody, we are going to make a character here really quick. This isn't really a Breachside chat, but I'm going to use the same channel for it anyway. I've got Justin here since I wasn't able to nail Eric's foot to the ground.
Oh, hi.
And we're going to make him a character. In a second here, I'm going to point the camera here at the table, and we're just going to make a character real quick. It probably won't even take that long. I'm going to point it at Justin here for a second and ask him a couple questions.
All right.
Justin, you've got a couple options when you make a character. Do you want to have a concept already set out, or do you just want to see what happens with the character?
Let's go with the concept already set out.
Okay,
if
so
that works.
What concept do you want to run for your character?
I'm like a mercenary.
All right, so like a mercenary. All right, so let's go ahead and point this at the table here. Hopefully you guys can see us just fine. I've got a printout of the current section for it, and Justin's got his handy-dandy character sheet here. I don't know how well these images are coming through, but hopefully you won't need them too much, because what we have here is the Fate deck. Now, it always starts with the player shuffling 5 times, cutting the deck, and then the Fate Master cuts the deck, and then the player shuffles again. In through the breach, the person telling the story, I'm trying to do a lot of acting with my hands, the person telling the story does not touch the deck. So in this case, because the player is telling the story during character creation, the player doesn't touch the deck after it's been shuffled, cut, and shuffled. So I, as the Fate Master, will flip the first card. So we know you're trying to build a mercenary.
Okay.
Step 1 in the process is concept. Once the player knows, right up here it says concept, has a concept or knows that he wants to just see how this character comes out randomly, he's good to go. These are all just kind of filler art. I may actually use that picture because it's just really good for the spread, but we've got, don't worry, there's lots of new art coming. We just haven't had it all in here yet. Next, as you can see by my handy-dandy sheet here, we are going to build the Crossroads Tarot. These notes down here are from a character that we watch get built as we go along. So let's play out the first card in the Crossroads Tarot, which is the character Station. Station represents where the character was born, more or less just kind of a general gist of the station in life to which he was born. Was he rich? Was he poor? That sort of thing. And to do that, we check our table here, and it's going to give us a good view, a pretty specific kind of birth condition for the character. You don't get to choose where you're born. In through the breach, a character's fate is a big part of the game, and so not knowing where you, not being able to choose where you're from, but then determining where you go and how you respond to fate is a big part of that theme. So we look at the 8 of masks here, and it looks like your character was born to a mercenary family. That's fortuitous.
Okay.
For the record, guys, we had no way like shenanigans to this deck, so it's going to look like it comes out with an awesome character. That happens every time. So you're from a mercenary family. That fits in with your idea.
That makes sense.
If you'd gotten, for instance, a 7, he would have gotten an outlaw. A 9 of maths he would have been a part of a veterinary family. So there's a lot of different options there, but we landed right on mercenary.
I kind of want to be a mercenary vet now.
Right?
I'm kind of disappointed.
All right, so you know that you're a mercenary. There really doesn't do anything to this except you're going to gain the skill Intimidate later on. There's a step we do later on, so that'll be a big deal when that happens. But just so you know, you come from a mercenary family, and however you want to work that into your character's story is up to you.
Okay.
So now it's your job to work that into the story.
Work that into my character's story.
So as an infant.
So mom and dad were mercenaries, and they raised me to be a mercenary.
So it's a family trade.
Family trade.
Okay.
It's pretty easy to work that into my story of being a mercenary.
That is true, right? It's a little tougher, but let's see how your early life was. The second step is the body. That point where you kind of develop as a person physically, what kind of, are you going to be active, not inactive, that sort of thing. And this is all just your physical attributes, or aspects in this case.
Okay.
So the next one, I'm going to deal them, I'm going to actually try and deal these cards with respect to this. So let's see, if that's north, is this west on the screen? Yes. And we'll go around, yes. So this is the Western card, and that is the body. So now we look here at the Ten of Tomes. The higher the card, the less focused a character's aspects are. In this case, you have a -2, a 0, a +1, and a +1. So you're going to come here.
Okay.
Notice on his sheet, he's got his physical aspects right here. There are 4 of them: might, grace, speed, and resilience. 0 is the human average. One of those is going to have a -2, and 2 of them will have a +1.
Okay.
So you just
So
got to
let's
decide
go
where that's going to go.
With a -2 resilience.
So you're maybe sickly as a
Yeah,
child.
maybe a Doc Holliday type of thing.
Maybe you just didn't do a lot of running. Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't. You're just someone who gets tired easily
As,
and
so
doesn't like getting hurt.
Right. So a 0 and 2 +1s.
Yep.
So let's go with a 0 speed
Okay.
and +1 grace. That seems important. And +1 might.
All right. So grace is key for shooting. Might is good for melee. So your guy's probably rough and tumble. He's not afraid to take the first hit if it's going to prevent him from getting hit himself.
Okay.
All right. Now we looked at step 5. This is your upbringing. This is the skills and abilities your family taught you and that they wanted you to learn. So we're going to flip that over, and it's the 5 of crows. So we look here at our chart, 5 of crows, 2, 2, and 1. These are
Okay.
skills down here in your section.
Okay.
So you're going to pick 2 skills. Now I've got a huge skills list here, but to speed up play, I'll help you with what you need to
Okay.
know. So what kind of skills do you think your character would want to know that his family would want him to know?
Well, mercenary family. So probably gunslinging.
So like rifles.
Rifles would
Rifles
be
are
good.
important for a soldier. So long arms is the name of that skill.
So long arms. Okay.
And that's the ability to use a rifle. And maybe you want that at the 2 instead of the 1.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Dad really drilled you on it, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Toughness. So even though you were a pretty weak kid, you probably went through a lot and learned a lot of stuff. Toughness is a skill in our game, and that's where you gain your additional wounds and how you resist pain and that sort of thing. So even though your character isn't very physically resilient, he might have toughness as a +2 because he's learned to take that damage despite his
Toughness.
2.
Okay, toughness 2.
Yep, he knows how to lean into a punch, how to do the stuff that'll minimize the amount of damage he takes.
Okay.
All right, and then you have a skill at 1 that you also want to pick up. Maybe something that's a little less. I dropped a card off the bottom of the deck. Maybe something that's a little less physical. A great example might be labor. He did actually have to do some labor, or tracking.
I'll go with tracking.
Tracking.
That makes that.
Sometimes you got to take a bounty as a job.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, so
We were
tracking
really shaking this thing. I'll
1.
try not to shake it. There we go. Sorry, no, it's all right. So you took long arms at 2, toughness at 2, and tracking at 1. Those are the things you learned early in life. You've been shooting a gun since you were 9, and that's kind of carried through until high level. The highest rating you can get in a skill at this point is a 5. Skills are the opposite of aspects. The higher the card, the more focused they are. But every character will, every time you gain skills, you're going to gain a total of 5 points in skills. Just like when you gain aspects, they always average out to 0. So you'll get an array to spend, but it's the same array that everyone else has. All right, so next card is, shift here, is the mind. This is as you kind of became a person and started gaining those critical social skills, that sort of thing as you grew older. A 6 of Tomes. The 6 of Tomes grants you, if I can find it here, a -3 and 3 +1s. So there's something mental. So your mental aspects here are intellect, charm, cunning, and tenacity. So one of those is pretty low, but the rest are above average.
Okay. Let's go with tenacity.
Tenacity. So he's just kind of weak-willed. He doesn't resist booze. If he wants to drink, he'll just drink. If if the going gets tough mentally, he's not afraid to just kind of back out. Okay. Keep in mind, a -3 does not doesn't put you into a handicapped kind of territory. A -3 strength doesn't mean you're incapable of lifting anything. It's still fairly a -4 or -5 would be severely problematic for a person.
Okay.
Which can happen, but not during character creation. The assumption is those characters aren't the fated characters. All right. And now we finally have your skills that are your education. These are the things that you taught yourself or pursued in your young adult life, that age about 14 to to 16, depending what the things that actually interested your character. So we'll flip that. We've got a jack there of crows. So a jack of crows gives us a 3 and a 2. So whatever it is you focused on, you really focused on.
Okay.
So what kind of, let's round out the character some. What kind of a person is he?
And these are more skills?
Yep. You
okay.
pick 2 new skills.
2 new skills.
Yep.
All right.
You never add to them. This gives you, like the others, they give you an array. So the only time you'll be adding to the skills is when you add in a point for your station skill.
Okay. So let's see, more skills. But you mentioned earlier the veterinary thing, and I actually really like that. So is there something I do with that? Maybe my character really liked...
husbandry would be a good one to take at 2. Maybe he really, or even 3. He really liked hanging out with the animals, taking care of the horses. He's a good rider.
Okay, let's make that a 3.
Okay, so he really focused on tending to the animals and that sort of thing. He's probably even a really good shot from horseback at that point. Yeah. And so now you need a 2. Blacksmithing would help you shoe horses and that sort of thing, and it'll help you make your own bullets later on, if that's something that would interest your character.
That I think so. Let's go with blacksmithing.
Okay.
Add a 2.
All right. And then the next step, step 8, is modify. You get to, we look at your aspect or your station, and we see that you're a mercenary. No matter what, you're going to learn some intimidate. So you get intimidate at 1. If you already had the intimidate skill, you would add +1 to it.
All right, intimidate 1.
All right, yeah. Justin's character is one tough hombre, says someone in social chat. He is a fighter, and he's certainly good from horseback. He's not afraid to spook someone, especially with his, he's got the bonus to might and to cunning, which are used to intimidate. Tenacity also helps intimidate, so depends on how you're doing it. So maybe now you've got 2 points to spend to improve your aspects in any way you want.
Oh, okay.
So you could raise your tenacity from a -3 to a -1, or even to a just to a -2. You basically just get 2 points to spend, or you can bump one of your +1s to a +3.
All right. I like having a character with a specific weakness. I'm going to leave those alone. So I'm going to just add. Let's see here. Grace is used for shooting.
Yep.
That seems useful. So I'll bump that up to 3.
Okay. So you're going to put both of your freebie points into Grace. So now you have a +3 Grace.
And this is why we make characters with pencils.
That's why we usually use pencil, but it's easier for the people here to maybe read it, depending on how well it comes through.
Right.
It's hard to see because the camera angle. All right. So now you've got the skills and aspects of your character finished. So that was the modify. So now step 9 is divining fate. So go ahead and flip to the last page. And this is part of the fun part.
Here?
Yep, right there in the destiny.
Okay.
The destiny, we just told, starts here and goes around. A character begins reading their destiny here and goes back the opposite way towards this card. You end where you began. So we look at the 10 of Tomes. 10 of Tomes.
I'm just going to show them real quick that there's a spot to write all this down here.
Yep.
I'll be going through here. All right.
So the 10 of Tomes is your eyes will be open unto the abyss.
Okay. That sounds cool.
Then we come here to the Jack of Crows. You will let your blood run cold.
That sounds not so cool.
Well, these are designed for the Fate Master to really interpret them as the game progresses. This is a fate that your character will either at some point have to choose to go towards or away from. Every game session will hopefully revolve around one player's fate. So everyone gets their moment in the sun. Everyone gets that shining minute. So maybe in our first game, when we get around to playtesting, this will be the very first one where the entire group learns something about it, but you're the one that has to choose whether to look into the abyss or not. And I, as the Fate Master, would be the one that tries to work that in. Whenever you hit one of these destiny points, your reward is a +1 to any of your aspects.
Oh, cool.
So it's a story moment where your character really advances, and it has to be worked into the story by the Fate Master, and everyone gets their kind of moment in the sun where the story really revolves around them. At the beginning of the game, the Fate Master might even tell you, well, I'll explain that after we do the next one. That way I can fill time while you're writing. So next we have the 6 of Tomes. With a whisper, you will bring down the walls. So one of the things that'll happen since everyone gets a moment in the sun, at the beginning of every game session, you might even say, hey, guys, hey, group, it's Justin's fate we'll be dealing with today. He kind of cosmically knows his fate nears. So Justin will pick his pursuit. Maybe the Fate Master will even give him a little foreboding, sense of foreboding. You're going to need to kill some men today. You just wake up knowing that. You wake up with that feeling. So he goes, okay, I'm going mercenary today, as opposed to, say, overseer or criminal, which might be other pursuits that he dabbles in. He goes, okay, I'm going gunfighter today. I'm or mercenary in his case. And everyone, the rest of the group goes, okay, knowing that Justin is kind of the focus of today's game session, I'm going to choose my pursuits so that I can aid in his story. All the players will obviously be involved. We're going to give the Fate Masters a lot of advice for that sort of thing. But this is the one where Justin has to meet his fate, and that's kind of the impetus of this episode, if you will. All right, so next, after the Six of Tomes, is the Five of Crows. Five of Crows gets us, you will break the noose. So I, as a Fate Master, get to interpret that in any way I want. And that's part of my fun as a Fate Master, is surprising you guys with how I'm interpreting your fate.
So that could be like a trap that was set, or it could be a literal
Or
hanging from a noose.
Or you could be on trial, and it references getting declared innocent, or maybe you're defending a man you know is innocent while he's on trial. There's an infinite number of ways that I, as a Fate Master, can interpret that.
Cool.
So even if two players have the exact same fate, which is possible, I, as a Fate Master, get to interpret it in wildly different ways, and they never know what's coming, the exact nature of what's coming. They just kind of get this sense of foreboding, and they know. Next, last but not least, or no, have we gone all the way around? Was that the Five of Crows? Did we skip something somewhere? Was that the Ten of Tomes? We've done something wrong.
Yeah, we did the 10 of Tomes first.
Okay.
Then the 11 of Crows. Then the 6 of Tomes.
Okay, I just
then
made.
We did the 5 of Crows. Now we're doing the.
Which one was the first card? Where were we supposed to start?
We started the 10 of Tomes here.
And that was the last one dealt? I'm just visually looking at this weird. That's my problem. Yeah, no, we're fine.
I think you went a different way because you wanted it to the script. This image is a mirror.
Yeah.
So you went the opposite direction. Now you're confused.
I've done this a little wrong, everybody. I apologize. The order is not properly, but I think you'll get the gist. I got confused by the fact that the mirror image of the video and that sort of thing. So my apologies. I should have actually started here and come around to there. So the last one to do is where you started. That's the 8 of Masks.
Okay.
8 of Masks gives you, and you will be transformed.
That could be good.
Could be good. It could be bad. It could be anything. So why don't you read your improperly dealt fate to everyone?
Okay, so the first I have, your eyes will be open unto the abyss, which sounds cool. Then it's, you will let your blood run cold, which I'm not quite as happy about, but we'll see. Then we have, with a whisper, you will bring down the walls, which I really like that one. That one's cool. And then you will break the noose. That sounds useful. And you will be transformed. I'm kind of I'm ambivalent about that at the moment. But, let's see how that works out.
Well, that's okay. Today I'm going to be revealing a new book, and that might be playing into that. So next, go ahead, flip back to your first page.
Okay.
Justin has to pick a pursuit. We kind of already know he wanted to go mercenary, so he goes ahead and writes mercenary there. Now, he doesn't actually gain any steps along the way. He hasn't spent time as a mercenary during game. However, he does gain a talent while he's on that path. He can write that in his talents down here. He's got a little section for it. But he can also just know that currently he's on the mercenary pursuit, so that's something he needs to know. The mercenary has a pursuit where whenever he kills a character, if he deals a killing blow, and he chooses a symbol, in this case I believe it's ram. So whenever a mercenary deals a killing blow and he had a rams with that damage, he gets to draw a fate card.
Cool.
Or a card from his twist deck. So that's the ability you'll have, is whenever you're killing dudes, you're getting what you need. I may have actually gotten that one mixed around, and that's got to see some playtesting, so it may actually change.
Right.
But that's kind of the idea there. Next, you calculate your wounds. That's pretty straightforward. It's 4 plus your resilience, in this case minus your resilience with your -2, plus your toughness.
Okay. So that is 4.
4. You have 4 wounds right up
Okay.
there. This is the amount of damage you can take before you start suffering negative effects. So think of that like how hard you are to make exhausted, how good you are at resisting damage.
Okay.
Next, you purchase your equipment. We're going to skip over that section because the equipment is literally what I'm working on today. But you might, you're going to know that you're probably going to have a rifle. You start with actually a long arm of your choice as a mercenary.
Mm-hmm.
As well, you're probably going to get 100 guild cred to spend in a variety of ways. You're likely to want to buy a horse and maybe a duster, which will help, protect you from a variety of things. So you'd pick up a few items that your character really needs. What he's got with him when he comes through the train into Malifaux. Last but not least, double check that it's last. Yes, this is the last step. You're going to build your twist deck. We're going to make that really easy by taking these off the table. The first step in building your twist deck is to choose, and it's on the last page if you want to flip to that.
Oh, right here.
Yep, there's a space for the cards. You might want to label them ace through king.
Okay.
Now, the reason I have the card written separately here is you actually can improve your twist deck as the game goes on. Certain talents will change it, getting high enough skills. There's a variety of ways for you to gain additional twists.
Okay.
So,
do you want me to go and write that now?
go ahead and write ace through 13, yeah. Just to save us time. And first thing Justin's going to have to do is pick the suit he feels is most appropriate to the character. What is called the, let me take a look here. First, the player chooses to be his defining suit. This is what defines you as a character. As a mercenary, that's maybe Rams.
Could be Rams.
Okay.
He's pretty weak, though, so it could be Crows, because Rams are usually resilient.
That's true.
Let's go with Crows.
Okay, so what you're going to do is the suit is going to be Crows in King, drop down to 9, drop down to 5, and drop down to Ace. You'll have 5 of those cards.
Okay.
The deck is shuffled, or else I would flip through them and try and find you the deck right now. But
Okay. So that was at King,
yep,
9,
correct.
5, and Ace?
Yep,
So just every 4?
every 4.
Okay.
Yep, and then we actually have them separated here. You did that wrong.
Oh.
Haha. The reason being, your numbers may improve, but your suits will never change. You'll always have the same number of each suit.
Okay.
So next, pick your secondary suit. What is your, in this case, I believe it is called the Ascendant suit.
Okay, so the secondary suit's probably Rams.
Okay, so go ahead and Rams. And that's going to be at 12,
Okay.
8, 4, and that's it. Next, you've got to take a look and choose your, let's see, Ascendant suit. So next we have the Center suit.
Okay.
So what is your Central suit?
Let's go with Masks.
Okay, so go ahead and Masks. I think you see the pattern forming here. 11, 7, and 3. And then obviously the last one, Tomes, fills in the rest. In 10, 6, and 2. At this point, what we do is you would have your own deck that you would pull these 13 cards out from. I'm just going to 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13. So you'd have 13 cards like this, and they would sit right next to you as your personal twist deck. Every game session, you'll start with 3, which are obviously not correct cards, but those 3 cards would be your hand for the game. Actually, low cards are pretty good since the players are always kind of in control. They can twist damage that's coming at them to be lower if the opponent doesn't have any
So you want to mix. You don't want
pluses.
all 13s in your twist deck. You want
You do want to mix. However, at some point you can actually bump them up. And since majority of the time higher numbers are better, you might want to take your middle ground ones, the things that are usually kind of moderate damage, and bump them up into those. But you might want to actually keep your low numbers.
Okay.
And that is it. Justin's character is done, except for a name. Which what was the name suggested on our forums?
I don't remember. I could go look it up real quick.
Oh, then we'll have to name him Baron von Rumpelbutt or something. No, I think that'll be fine not to have a name right now. Although, if you're doing character concept first, maybe you should have had that.
I probably should have.
So I'm going to go ahead and
Not
point this
prepared.
back at us up here, and we can lean in. So everybody, well, maybe we suck at this.
Yeah, we get awkwardly close. No.
No,
No,
it's
not
not going to
doing
work.
it.
I'm going to point it at me.
No.
This is This is fantastic broadcasting here, isn't it? So that's the gist of it. That is character creation. It goes pretty straightforward, pretty easy. I like it. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I liked it a lot.
All right. Well, hopefully you guys there in the social stream enjoyed it. And Jank Wunderbar is
Okay.
All right, I'll allow it. Jank Wunderbar is the character we just made now. From the to steal a joke from Penny Arcade and their fun one stuff from the New Hampshire Wunderbars.
How do I spell Wunderbar?
Wunderbar is spelled Wunderbar. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us here to watch Justin make a character. Yeah, I'm going to get this up on YouTube pretty soon, and it'll go out in today's update. Thanks for joining us.